Welcome into Market Day Report. I am Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. This is the last time we're going to get together here today. We've got Tuesday pretty much done and up and underneath our belt here, but stick around to the top of the hour, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. That's going to be the Cow Guy Close. Got another great show, 3 great guests. We want to have you stick around for that. Appreciate it. We're having a lot of fun, and we're getting a lot of good things done here, too. So that's going to be 1 Central, 2 Eastern, the Cow Guy Close. Now, if for some crazy reason they pull you away from the television at 1 o'clock Central Time, you're going to get another chance to listen at least to the show on at 5 o'clock Central, 6 Eastern on Rural Radio, Sirius XM, channel 147. That's Rural Radio, Sirius XM, channel 147. And if you miss that, you're eating dinner or whatever you're doing, well, I tell you what, when you're out on about later on the night at 2 a.m. Central, 3 a.m. Eastern, we got it on again. That's Sirius XM, channel 147. So you get 2 ways to listen to it. One way to watch it. The watch it one is going to be at the top of the hour. I'd love to see you there. All right, let's get through some of these prices real quick and see what we've got going on. Just pulled up a corn board. July is now taking off. It's 7 3/4 cents better at 403.5. So it's above. Well, no, July is off. Forget it. Let's go to SEP. 1 1/4 cents better to 394.5. And this is where we were about the close of overnight, right? Dees was around 409. We're at 408 3/4 right now. So we're up about a penny. This one really hasn't done anything since the close of the overnight session. We did try to squeeze a little higher today, but it didn't work out for us. Let's move over to see if we can get going on in the beans. Let's see if I'm having a little bit of technology. There we go. It's got to go slow here today, Shellady. Beans don't look good either, do they, folks? Let's go right to Nove. Down 18 3/4 cents, 10.80 3/4. A penny 3/4 off the low of the day. That's no bueno. That's going to be something that's going to bother us too, isn't it? Let's take a look at wheat in Chicago. We got a little bit of a rally here. SEP's up 3 1/4 cents to 573 3/4. While the Dees is up 3 cents to 597.5. Let's keep moving along. I'm going to not press my luck and see if we can get the hard red wheat to come up here. We might not have it. So hard red wheat, there we go. Let's take a look at that. That's up 1 3/4 cents in the SEP to 579. We're up a penny and a half in the Dees to 597.25. How about the spring wheat? Well, that's higher too, but they've all kind of come back in and settled back in after making early highs. SEP's up 3/4 cent on the spring wheat to 618.25. While the March is up a half cent to 653. Let's get to the cotton and let's see about the cotton, and we'll bring in our next guest. Cotton, we'll go right to the Dees. That's down 38 points to 70.67. Let's bring him in. Everybody wants to hear what he has to say. It's Ted Seifried, Zaner MarketCast. Ted, thanks for being on the show. All the way from balmy Chicago, I'm sure. What are your thoughts here, Ted? I mean, yesterday was kind of risk off. At least seemed like it was risk off. But I would have liked to seen a little bit of a better board today. What do you think?
Yeah, first of all, to all the people, driving their Ubers, they can listen to the Scott the Cow Guy Close.
Right.
I don't drive an Uber, Scott, although I have considered creating Uber R, which would be Ubering in race cars. That would be fun.
There you go.
Anywho, yes. I don't know if yesterday was really risk off. I mean, yeah, it was a risk off day, but I don't know if that's the reason we were down as much as we were, especially in corn. I think that's just we get back from the 4th of July holiday and we don't have a weather concern, and you have this hurricane that is going to, or likely, or currently is, pushing through a lot of the drier areas that we had been concerned about. And the bottom sort of falls out, right? New contract lows, and that's not good. And now today, corn's a little bit stronger just because it had gotten so very oversold. At one point, it was at 18% on the relative strength index, currently at 23% on the relative strength index, still very oversold, but at least taking a breather here for now, while soybeans do the heavy lifting, or not lifting, the opposite of that, I guess, because the soybeans were not really oversold. I mean, we went into the weekend at like 46% on the relative strength index, which is almost neutral. So beans are playing catch up for 2 reasons, though. One, beans had been holding in a bit of a weather premium because beans are made in August, not July. So we weren't sure about that. But now we see these rains happening in some of the areas that we were a little bit worried about. And now we're less worried about August. And the longer term forecasts aren't terribly concerning. So that weather premium's coming out a little bit. But more importantly, we've talked about it ad nauseum. The inverse that you have between old crop and new crop beans is because guys aren't selling beans. They've been waiting for that rally to $13 that we've seen the last few years to sell cash beans. But now that you've got a 3 in front of old crop corn, Scott, I think you are now starting to see the floodgates open on old crop bean sales. And this could really snowball. So do keep an eye out for that. That spread, by the way, had a spike high today. It is well off those highs. It's looking like a a blow off top in the spread if you like to use charts on spreads, which I don't. But either way, yeah, I feel like now is the time for some cash beans to move. And again, there's a lot of on-farm storage, as we've talked about. There's a lot of cash sales that are yet to happen between now and September. And that is the next big short in the market.
All right. I hear you loud and clear, sir. Stay right there, though. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more. Ted Seifried, Zaner MarketCast in Chicago, right after this. All right, welcome back. I've got a live cattle board pulled up. We have come off our lows. The last time, well, it was about an hour, maybe 2 hours ago. Boy, we just saw a big turn to the downside. We're not as bad right now, though. August is down $1.77. That's August live cattle. 182.57 is last. You go out the deferreds, the February, that's down $1.37 to 187.27. All right, let's bring in the feeders and see what they've got in store for us. A little bit more of a loss here, folks. August is down $3.07 to 256.10. And go to the Nove, that's down $2.92 to 257.57. And I'm going to finish it up with lean hogs. Well, let's go to the August is down 97 cents. That was the only thing higher yesterday. 88.55 is last there, while Deese is down $1.52 to 64.20. Let's bring him back in. That's going to be Ted Seifried, Zaner MarketCast in Chicago. Ted, we were just slightly better on the day, both live cattle and feeders, and then bam, we took about a $4 swoon. What's going on?
Yeah, man, we keep running into overhead resistance and failing, and then we come back down and test the support that we have underneath us. I really want to see feeders hold the 55 mark. If we don't, I think there is a bit more of a correction in front of us. But we had been sideways. I mean, we've just been kind of ping-ponging, waiting for a sense of direction. Now that we're past the peak demand weekend of the year or week of the year with the 4th of July holiday, you worry a little bit about what the consumer or domestic demand might be in the what we call summer doldrum months, Scott. And on top of that, we're getting more worried about the economy. I'm sure you'll talk about that a lot more in the Cowboy Close. But we're seeing some indicators that, may be showing some cracks in the foundation, which is kind of atypical in an election year before the election. But I don't know. I don't know if this is sort of a house of cards. The concern is that demand is going to really falter longer term. So, yeah, I mean, lots of stuff going on, but you've had sideways trade, and at some point it's got to break one way or the other. And today you get a little worried that might be the downside for the cattle complex.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, we have seen so many things that don't normally fit, going in, especially going into this election. I mean, absolutely crazy. There's no reason why the markets can't do the same. I feel you. All right, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Great timing, Ted. They just wrapped me in the ear. Ted Seifried, Zaner MarketCast, coming to us from Chicago. Bring it back to Nashville and throw it back to good old Suzanne one more time.